Welcome to Let's Learn 2024 D&D, where I go over a different rule of the Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition in 2024. This is for people looking for a quick rule refresher or looking to get into the game. My name's Jimmy, your local dungeon master. Let's begin. Today, we're talking about how spells work. Let's learn. If you haven't checked out the video on spell preparation and spell slots, I'll link it here if I remember. I've somewhat gone over a lot of the extensive spell casting, but this will be the figurative nail in the coffin. Today, we're going to cover the rest of the information about spells. They can be a little overwhelming at first, but as long as we can read through a couple different spells, we can basically interpret any of them. I'm going to provide a couple of examples of spells this video, but just before we get to it, let's break down how each spell is formatted in general. Spells are formatted like so. Hopefully I'm going to show something on the screen. I probably will, let's hope. The name of the spell, the level and school of the spell, along with which classes have access to use the spell. Just note that the level of the spell is the spell slot you need to expend in order to cast it. From there, they give you the casting time. Range is the distance you can cast the spell that includes a number in feet that the spell can be cast away from you, or if it exclusively targets yourself, in which it will specify self, as well as if it is a touch spell, in which you must specifically touch the target. The components. Each spell can have up to 3 components referred to as VSM, or verbal, somatic, and material. Verbal requires that you must speak to cast the spell. Somatic requires that you have hand gestures and movements that your character must make, so they must have a free hand in order to cast the spell. And material requires your character have a specified material item to cast the spell. This is accomplished by your character having a component pouch. If the spell material has a specified material cost, then you must have that item worth that much gold value on you. Duration is how long the spell lasts. This also states whether the spell requires concentration. The duration of the spell is measured generally with instantaneous, minutes, or hours. If the effect is instantaneous, the spell happens and resolves right when you cast it. Lastly, some spells increase their potency when you expend a spell slot higher than a first level one on it. This doesn't apply to every spell, but the ruling as to what happens will be at the bottom of the spell. The same case works with cantrips, except their damage increases naturally over time as you level up to represent your potency in magic increasing. Now let's talk about targeting with spells. Each spell's description will specify whether you need to pick one or more targets, and whether the targets need to be creatures, objects, or if the target must be hostile. Another aspect of this is to consider its area of effect. Certain spells will specify an area of effect in which they deal damage. There are 6 area of effect types: cone, cube, cylinder, emanation, line, and sphere. A lot of this converts well into the grid system, so let me give you a visual of each effect and break down simply how they are shown. A line starts from its point of origin and carries the distance specified in the spell. A cone starts from the point of origin and expands 5 feet conically every 5 feet. A cube is a specified dimension from which the spell is determined, so a 20-foot cube is literally drawing a 4-inch by 4-inch by 4-inch wherever the spell is cast. Emanation is a spell effect that extends a number of feet from a creature or object. So if the effect is a 15-foot emanation, you draw a circle around the creature or object, and that is the emanation. The origin of the emanation isn't included in the area of effect unless the creature states otherwise. On the other side, a sphere is the exact same measurement system as the emanation, except the origin of the emanation is included in the area of effect. So you might be asking, what the heck does that origin of a area of effect mean? Basically, spells that you cast that have an emanation can have a negative effect, and you don't want to hit yourself with a negative effect. And with spheres, you can control the location other than just being centered on you, so you can cast a spell away from you. Just briefly, as I mentioned, the other non-level related spells are cantrips. The class feature table of your class tells you how many cantrips you will have at your given level. These cantrips scale in power as you gain levels, so they can always be a reliable source for spellcasters to do damage. We will go over the feature table of each class soon and brush over cantrips there as well. So just know that you can cast cantrips as much as you want. They are not a resource that depletes. Now, since I mentioned some spells that we can go over, I just want to showcase a couple of spells on the screen and let you go through and read a couple of them and see if you interpret how they are intended to be cast. Now, if you have any questions about these, you can just go ahead and let me know in the comments, and I'll kind of clear up any questions you might have about these spells. This is just so you can have a reference to some of those spells. And with that, thank you all for listening to the Let's Learn. Go ahead and leave a like and subscribe if you haven't. If there's another topic you want to cover for the 2024 rules of Dungeons & Dragons, or have a question about the topic just covered, leave a comment. The point of these is to be educational and informative to help introduce the game to people who may not have played before or want to get back into it.